Welcome back, my friends. Today I have a really fun class for you. We're going to explore a pose called Vishnu's Couch. You will need a strap and a set of blocks. And let's begin. Find your way into a comfortable Shavasana, and that's where we'll begin today. Laying on your back. Take your time. And when you arrive, feel free to close your eyes and start to take some mindful, deep breaths. As you exhale, allow your body to relax into the mat, feeling the ground pressing back up into you and supporting you everywhere you touch. Now, while we're here, go ahead and take your hands and place them anywhere on your body that you feel needs a little bit of energy, relaxation, strength, whatever you want to focus on today. Imagine it emitting from your hands. Place it on any part of your body you feel that needs it. And imagine that strength, relaxation, whatever it is, flowing from your hands into your body. Whenever you're ready, allow both of your knees to bend, bringing the soles of your feet to the mat, and send your feet out wide so that each foot comes just up to the side of your mat, the side edges. From here, send both of your knees over to the right. It's okay if your left hip comes off the mat just a little bit, but try to root it gently down. Inhale, bring your knees back up to center. Exhale, allow them to fall now to the left side, rooting down through your right hip. Now continuing this on your own pace, we'll windshield wiper our legs back and forth. Inhale, as you come back to center. Exhale, falling to the other side at your own pace with your breath. Go ahead and take one more round, even yourself out, and find your knees back up, neutral, at the center. And hug them up towards your chest. Grab with your arms and give yourself a nice hug. You can hug your knees narrow up to your chest, or you can also take them wide. Hug them towards your armpits. Now, either pressing yourself up with your hands, or you can rock back and forth and come all the way up to your seat. Cross your feet at the ankles and roll all the way through to tabletop, hands and knees. While you're here, go ahead and give some circles with your wrists. Prepare them for the weight bearing I'll be doing. Take any extra little wrist warm-ups you need. Give them some extra love today. And find yourself back in your tabletop position whenever you're ready, pressing your palms firmly into the ground, pressing through all 10 fingers. Ground through your hands, sending energy all the way up through your shoulders, not sagging through your shoulders and back. Nice and strong. Great. From here, send your belly down, gaze up, cow pose. Take a breath here. And as you exhale, curl your tailbone, chin to chest, belly comes up towards your spine, towards the sky, cat pose. We're going to rock back and forth between these at your own pace. On your inhale, send your belly down, gaze up, cow pose. And on your exhale, tuck your chin, tuck your tailbone, cat pose. Go ahead and do a few rounds of these. Feel free to take any freedom here, maybe rolling through your spine. You might rock a little bit forward and back. Just pressing the mat away wherever you're at. Take one more round. And find yourself back in a neutral spine. From here, we're gonna do some crunches, sending your weight into your right hand, left leg, send your left arm and right leg out long in front and behind you, reaching them as far away from each other as you can, nice and long and strong. Inhale here, exhale, crunch your knee to elbow, and inhale, reach long again. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, reach. Crunch. Reach. You can take your own pace. Crunch. Inhale, reach. Let's do 2 more. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, reach. Last one, crunch. And reach. Stay here for a moment. Reach nice and long, engaging through your whole body, finger to toes. And exhale, your hand and leg back to the mat. For the other side. Now reaching right arm and left leg out long. Engage all the way from fingertips to toes. Take a breath here. And as you exhale, crunch, knee to elbow. Inhale, reach. Exhale, crunch. Reach. Crunch again. You can take your own pace along with your breath. Exhale, crunch. Reach, nice and long, crunch. Two more. Pressing through your left shoulder. Last one, crunch. And when you reach long again, take a breath here. Reach as far as you can, fingers to toes, stretching nice and long. And on your next exhale, return to your tabletop. Curling your toes under, send your hips up and back. Find downward facing dog. Nice and long through your spine. Still sending your weight evenly through both palms and all your fingers. Go ahead and walk out your dog. Notice your core is engaged. It's not hug your belly button in towards your spine. Inhale, sweep your right leg up and back, three-legged dog. Exhale, crunch your knee forward, step your foot between your hands. Allow your left knee to come down, setting up for a low lunge. You might need to use your toes to scoot your foot forward or back, to play with the distance between your feet, to find your stance. Extending out long through your back leg, hips reaching towards the mat, knee over ankle or over your foot as long as it's not far over your toes. You might grab your blocks here. If your hands can reach the mat, that's fine. You can use the strength of your core or supporting yourself with your hands on the top of your knee. Go right ahead. Or coming to your blocks on the mat. Find your way into your low lunge in a way that you can stand up straight through your spine, reaching the crown of your head up nice and tall, shining your chest forward. Press nice and strong through your arms. And when you're ready, straighten your front leg and send your hips back. Pulling your toes up, flexing your foot, find yourself in a half split, half Hanumanasana. You can keep your hands on your blocks or you can bring them to the mat. Wherever you're at. If you need more or less of a stretch, you can experiment with rising up with your torso, changing the angle between your torso and your leg. And also how far back you sit your hips. Now bring your hands back to your blocks if they're not already there. And we're going to rock back and forth between these two poses. As you inhale, send your hips forward and down towards the mat to your low lunge. Sink in and exhale, send your hips back. Chest down, half split. Continue this at your own pace. Let's go for 5. Remember to pull your toes up in your half split. When you've made it through your 5 sets, find yourself back in your low lunge. You can move your blocks out of the way. Plant your hands, flip your left toes, and step back. Find your 3-legged dog and release your foot back to the mat. Take a breath in downward facing dog. Now inhale, send your left leg up, 3-legged dog. Exhale, crunch it forward, step between your hands. Bring your right knee down, find your low lunge. Again, you might play with the distance and grab your blocks. If you are using your blocks for our hold in our low lunge, try to get your hands, your blocks, directly under your shoulders. Or slightly forward if you run out of room with your hips. Sinking your hips down gently. Feeling that stretch through the front of your right leg and the back of your left leg. Reaching up nice and tall through your spine. When you're ready, send your hips back. Straighten through your left leg. Pull your left toes off the mat towards the sky. Bring your hands down to the mat or leave them on the blocks. Fold forward, half split. Allow your head to hang heavy here. Now bring your hands back to your blocks if they're on the mat. And we're going to rock back and forth. So same as before, inhale, rock forward into your low lunge, sink in, and exhale, send your hips back, chest forward, left toes up, half split on your own pace. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, split, half split. Going for 5. Nice and slow. If you have any pain in the back of your knees, don't straighten your leg in your half split. Keep a nice gentle bend. And after you've made it through your 5, find yourself back in your low lunge. Move your blocks away. Plant your hands. Curl your right toes. Step off your right leg and step back. 3-legged dog. And bring your foot back to the mat. Take a breath in downward facing dog. Now send your gaze to your fingers and take a slow walk up the mat till your feet meet your hands. Pausing in your forward fold. Pressing firmly through all 4 corners of both feet. Root down and rise up, sweeping your hands to the side, all the way over your head, reaching up nice and tall through extended mountain, gazing through your fingertips. And exhale, hands come through your sides or through heart center. Mountain pose. From here, inhale, sweep your hands back up. Use your right fingers to gently grab your left wrist. Pull up on your left wrist and over to the right, bringing a gentle side stretch through the left side of your body. Take this however deep feels good for you. And don't forget to breathe. If this isn't a deep enough pose for you, you can go ahead and send your hips a little bit out to the left, deepening the stretch. Pulling up and away with your right hand, creating length and space through your left side. Exhale, return up to center. Release your right hand. Now taking your left fingers, gently grab your right hand, same thing on the left side, reaching up to the left now, pulling away, creating length through the right side of your body. And breathe. You can gaze forward or you might gaze slightly upwards. Again, you can send your hip out a little bit for a deeper stretch. Take one more breath here. And come back to center. Inhale, reach tall. Exhale, release your hands down to your sides. Now let's go and grab our blocks again. Grabbing them on the smallest side so that when they're standing up, they are the tallest. Inhale, if you have room, sweep your hands up to the sky with your blocks. And exhale, hinge at your hips, forward fold, bringing your blocks to the mat right in front of and slightly outside of your feet. Come into your forward fold. Now, pressing your weight into your palms through your blocks, rise up, halfway lift, using these blocks as support for a decent amount of your weight. Find a space with a long spine, extending the crown of your head forward away from your hips. You need a gentle bend in your legs, go ahead. Now really take a moment, soak this pose in, and remember it for just a moment from now. On your next exhale, bend at your arms and fold forward, and press through your feet. Rise back up, sweeping your hands overhead, and exhale your hands down. Now from here, we're going to take Warrior 3 with the support of your blocks. So the majority of this pose looks exactly the same as our half lift we were just in. We're just going to extend one leg out nice and long and straight behind us, okay? So in your mountain pose with your blocks, inhale, send the crown of your head up nice and tall, reach through from your toes to your head. Send your weight to your right leg so you can bring your left leg off the mat, might give it a little bit of a bend. And on your next exhale, hinge forward at your hips bringing your hands and blocks down to the mat just like they were before, and sending your left leg out long behind you. This is our warrior 3. Extend long through both of your legs. If you need a bend in your standing leg, go ahead. Try giving a flex through your left foot as if you could stand on a wall behind you. See how that feels? From here, we're going to take our blocks with us for this whole sequence. Bring a gentle bend into your right standing leg. Hinge back so you can step down with your left foot, ball of your left foot. Rise up to your crescent lunge. You can bring your blocks up overhead. You can keep them in front of you. It's a little funky with the blocks, but get creative. So sinking into your crescent lunge, you may gaze forward or up between your hands if they're up, extending long through your left leg on the ball of your left foot, bending into your right leg. Find your balance. And take a few breaths here. Now, when you're ready, bring your hands down to your side, straighten through your right leg, pivot out to your left. Find yourself in a wide leg stance, toes pointed forward or slightly inward. Now from here, inhale, rise up through the crown of your head. Exhale, hinge at your hips. Fold with a nice long straight spine, bringing your blocks to the mat again. Finding the same type of supported fold with a straight spine in our wide leg fold. Take a few breaths here. If you're itching to fold deeper, don't worry, we'll get there in a minute. Pressing down through your hands all the way up through your shoulders. When you're ready, press firmly through your feet. Rise back up to your standing position. We're going to take it all the way now to the left. So pivoting, facing the opposite direction on your mat, come to the ball of your right foot and flat on your left foot, extending your right leg out long, left leg bends, crescent lunge. Again, you can bring your hands up or keep them at your sides or at heart center. Gazing forward or up, feel free to add a gentle back bend if that suits you. Take a few breaths here. And when you're ready, bring your hands down. Get ready for warrior 3 on the opposite side. So bring a little bit of bounce into your back leg. Start to lean forward, send your weight over your left leg. Come forward onto your left leg, your standing leg. Send your right leg out long and bring both of your blocks back to the ground. You can make any adjustments you need. Find your supported warrior 3 once again. Crown of your head reaching long away from your hips. Notice if your hips are opening up to the side, try to square them down and straight. Extending with your right leg. Flex your right foot. If you could stand on a wall beside you, behind you. Take one more breath here. Now exhale, allow your right leg to come to the mat. Finding ourselves back in the supported halfway lift position. Go ahead and set your blocks aside for now. Not too far, we'll need them later. Bring your hands to the mat, you might bend your knees. Step back into a high plank, shoulders over wrists, gazing slightly forward. Nice and strong through the arms, through the shoulders, all the way up through your back. And on your next exhale, either bring your knees down or lower through chaturanga all the way down to your belly. Now from here, bring your forearms to the mat, palms down, fingers facing away from you. Bring the tops of your feet to the mat. Setting up for Sphinx pose. Rise up onto your forearms, opening up through the chest. Head nice and tall, chest shining forward. Sphinx pose. While you're here, pressing into your palms, dragging the mat towards you, towards your core. Feel that stability and strength help you rise up. Take a few breaths here. Now from here, take your left forearm, pivot it so that it is perpendicular to your body and the mat. You can use your right arm to support you to sit onto your left hip. Bring your feet one on top of each other or slightly staggered like this, setting up for a forearm side plank. You may use your right hand to support. Find your weight on the blades of your feet, trying to spiral your feet, soles of the feet to the mat. Rise up, sending your hips up towards the sky. You might have fingers on your right hand, fingers on the mat, or if you have your balance, you can reach up and gaze through your right fingertips. Take one deep breath here. And exhale, release back down. Find your Sphinx pose again. Opening up. Pressing the tops of your feet down into the mat. Now, same thing on the other side. Pivot your right forearm now. Sit over onto your right hip. Set your feet up for a forearm plank whenever you're ready. Pressing, rooting through down your right arm onto your forearm and up onto your feet. Forearm side plank on the other side. Engaging through your core, sending your hips up towards the sky. Pressing nice and firm. Feel that strength through your shoulder, down to your elbow and your forearm. One more breath and exhale. Return once again to your Sphinx pose. Take a moment here. Pull your mat in, engage. And pressing through your hands. Option to sit back into a child's pose, or you may take a resting downward facing dog. If you're in your child's pose, you can be narrow or wide with your knees, sending your hands out long in front of you, forehead or cheek resting on the mat. Take some breaths here. If you're in your child's pose, press up through tabletop. Curl your toes and find yourself in downward facing dog. Inhale, sweep the right leg up and back, three-legged dog. Exhale, crunch it forward, step between your hands. Pivot your left heel down onto the mat. Foot perpendicular out to the side. Bend through your right leg and rise up, opening out to your left side for warrior two. Tuck your tailbone under you. Send your hands out long in front and behind you and gaze over your right fingertips. Now bend into your right arm, just like you did in your forearm stand, your side or your forearm side plank. And hinge at your hips, pivoting forward to bring your elbow onto your knee or the top of your thigh. You can stay here, or you can also grab a block and send your arm straight down to your block beside your leg, sweeping your left arm up and over, all the way over in front of you, gazing through your left fingertips, extended side angle pose. Opening up through to the left side of your body, gazing sideways. Now rooting strongly through your feet, rise back up to your warrior two, and we're going to rock back and forth between these two poses a few times. So on your own pace, Sweeping your arm forward, hinging forward into your extended side angle. Gazing out to the side, rising back up, gazing over your right fingertips in your warrior two. Back and forth a few times. Reach nice and long through your hands. Engage all the way to your fingers. Take one more. When you find yourself back in warrior two, straighten through your front leg. Find your triangle pose. Send your hips out behind you and tip forward over your right leg just like you did. An extended side angle. Bring your hand either down to your leg or to your block behind your leg or even to the mat. Sweep your left hand up in front of, your left hand up over you, gazing through your left fingertips. Triangle pose. Gazing up is too much on your neck. You can also gaze straight out to the side. Nice and strong. Engaging through your legs. Spreading your weight through your feet, resisting them away from each other. When you're ready, bend gently into your right leg, rise back up to your warrior two, and pivot your feet forward to your wide leg forward fold. Clearly should have taken this facing the other direction. Now pointing your toes back forward or slightly inward. Here's where we're gonna sink deeper into our wide leg forward fold. Inhale, rise up through your spine nice and long. Exhale, fold forward as far as you can with a straight spine. Stopping where you stick, take an inhale. And exhale, bring your hands down to your legs or the mat. Wide leg forward fold. Go ahead and bend a little bit into your legs. Alternate that a little bit if you'd like. We'll be back here a few more times. Rooting strongly through your feet. Rise back up. Inhale. Again, rise up through your spine. Send the crown of your neck up towards the sky, finding length. Exhale, hinge at your hips, fold with a straight spine. Inhale where you stick. And exhale, bring your hands down to the mat or your legs. Relax down, forward fold. Now, if your hands are on the mat or your legs, go ahead and try to take peace fingers, 2 fingers on each hand, and see if you can reach to grab onto each of your big toes. If you are here, send your elbows up and go ahead and add some gentle resistance, pulling yourself slightly deeper into your forward fold. Take a deep breath here. And when you're ready, release your hands from your toes if they're there. Press them into the mat or your hips and rise up. Now I'm going to switch back over here. Continuing your rotation over to the left, pivoting your left toes out, finding your warrior two. Now on your left side, extending your hands out long in front and behind. Sink into your bend in your left leg. And when you're ready, bend into your left arm. Pivot forward and find yourself in your extended side angle, sweeping your right arm all the way up and over, gazing through your right fingertips in front of you. Again, you can grab your block as well and bring your hand to the mat. or to the block behind your left leg. Reach nice and long. Feel the length between your fingertips, your right fingertips and your right toes. And pressing firmly through your feet, rise back up to your warrior two. Again, we'll rotate, rock back and forth between these two poses at your own pace. Coming forward to your extended side angle, reaching nice and long with your right hand, and pressing firmly, rising back up, warrior two. Take these at your own pace. Feel the strength and stability running through your body. Root firmly down. Let's take one more wherever you're at. Now from here, finding your triangle pose, straightening through your left leg and continuing that pivoting motion, sending your right hip back, just like in your extended side angle. Bring your left hand to your block behind your leg or to your leg. Reach your right arm up above you, gazing through your right fingertips, triangle pose. Reach nice and long with your fingertips up towards the sky. When you're ready, bring a gentle bend into your left leg. You can move your block out of the way. Come up onto your right toes. Pivot forward through your crescent lunge. Bring your hands down to frame your left foot. Step back. Three-legged dog and downward facing dog. Great job. Go ahead, bring your knees down, send your hips back. Take a child's pose. Again, narrow or wide, up to you. Now pressing into your hands, curl your toes under through your tabletop, all the way to downward facing dog. Spend a moment here before gazing up towards your fingertips and taking a slow walk of your feet up to meet your hands. When you arrive, rise, halfway lift, feel that long spine. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, press your feet into the mat, sweep your arms up, rise, extended mountain. Reaching for the sky, and exhale, bring your hands down. Opening back up to your side, come back to a wide leg stance once again. From here, we're actually going to take a variation of a wide leg forward fold, which is ninja, not a technical pose name. But from here, bend into one knee, keeping your other knee long, sending your hips over top of your bent knee. Rise back up, straight legs, and send your hips over to the other side. Now you can do this standing up straight, or you can also bring your hands down to the mat in a forward fold and take this the same way. Whatever feels good for you right now. Rock side to side through your hips, stretching out through the insides of each leg, your straight leg. Feeling the power through your bent leg. You might pulse on your bent leg, a little on each side. Great job. Take a few more, side to side. And bring yourself back to neutral whenever you feel even on both sides. Rise up. Keeping your legs where they are. Pivot your toes out as far as you can to each side, setting up for a goddess pose. When you have your balance, go ahead and inhale, prepare, and exhale. Bend your knees, sink into your goddess pose. You can bring your hands to the tops of your knees for support, or you can also bring them to heart center. Take a moment here. Nice and strong. And on your next exhale, straighten up through your legs. Now this time, if you have your balance, we'll be taking some side bends. So inhale to prepare. Exhale, sink down back into your goddess pose. Now you can either have one arm alternating on your legs for support, or you can reach your arms up, extend up above your head. We're going to take some side bends. So wherever you're at, if you are supporting yourself on one leg, straighten through that arm on your knee. Sweep your other hand up overhead, finding a side bend. Take a breath in each bend and return back to center. Let's go for 2 on each side. This is a long time to be in goddess pose. You've got this. Whenever you're ready, whenever you're done with 2 on each side, straighten back up through your legs, pivot your toes back forward, and you can heel toe or step your feet together. Give yourself any little shakes you need and find your way back down onto your hands and knees for a tabletop. From here, keeping both of your legs bent where they are, send your weight onto both hands and your right knee so you can lift your left leg off the mat. Now keeping it bent exactly how it is, point through your toe. So your leg is bent 90 degrees. Send your leg straight out to the side, keeping your hips where they are. And exhale, bring it back down. Inhale, sweep it up to the side, opening out to the left. Exhale, bring it back down. Great job. Let's do 3 more. Inhale, your knee up to the side, keeping your hips as level as you can. Exhale down. Inhale, engaging through the outside of your leg, through your glutes. Exhale down. Last one. Inhale. And exhale. Bring your left leg back down. Send your weight to your other side so you can float your right leg for the same thing. Inhale, bring it up to the side. Point your toes. Engage nice and strong. Exhale, back down. Inhale, leg up to the side. Exhale down. 3 more. Inhale. And exhale. Pressing through your shoulders. Inhale. And exhale. Last one. Inhale. And exhale. Great job. Now, sending your left leg out long to the side. Going for it, the same thing with a straight leg. Now, this is significantly harder. Do not worry if you barely make it off the ground. From where you're at, press firmly into both hands on your right leg. Engage through the outside of your left leg and through your glute and see if you can lift your leg off the mat, off the floor just beside you and lower it back down. Great job. Inhale, lift. Exhale down. Inhale, lift. Exhale down. Inhale, lift. Exhale down. Inhale, lift. Exhale down. 1 more. Inhale, lift. You can do it. Exhale down. Bring your leg back under you. Great job. Now sending your right leg out long. Last time, you've got this. Root through both hands on your left leg. Inhale. Lift your right foot. Exhale it back down. Inhale. Lift. Exhale down. Inhale, lift. Exhale down. 2 more. Inhale, lift, engage all the way through your leg. Exhale down. Inhale, lift. Exhale down. Return back to your tabletop. Send your hips back. Child's pose. You may be really feeling that through the outsides of your hips. Let it release a little bit. You can send your hips, lean to each side in your child's pose. Gently stretch the outsides of your hips. Now pressing back up through your tabletop, you can take a seat. We are ready now for a little bit more of the free part of this class where we're going to be practicing through our Vishnu's couch, our peak pose. What I want you to do is to take your strap and lay it on your mat right down the center. Get it nice and even. So you have a straight line and you can tell all the way down through the center. So first we're going to practice this pose on the ground. We're going to take it up to our forearms, and then if you're ready, you can take it up all the way onto your hand for the extended version. Well, first things first. We have our strap here because it can be really difficult from lying on your side to be able to tell when you're straight and you're not sending your hips out forward or back. So line yourself up, lying on your side on your strap. Take your time. Really try to line yourself up. Put your ankles on the strap, your hip and your shoulder, and even your elbow if you can. Now from here, bend into your right leg and take your right hand, peace fingers, just like we did in our forward fold. You might already be having some trouble balancing. Fun part of this pose, to be honest. Grab around your toe with your peace fingers. Engage your core. Try to balance. Get ready to extend your right leg up towards the sky, opening up through your hips. Ooh. Now this is quite the balance challenge, balance adventure. This is why I like to leave this as a very free part of class. Go ahead, embrace all the wiggles, all the wobbles. Try to just experience the shape of this pose. Extend it out through both of your legs, left leg out long on the mat, right leg up towards the sky, holding your right big toe, opening up through your hips. Just try to experience the shape of this pose. And as always, you can go ahead and pause for as long as you'd like. Practice these for longer. But if you're ready to move on, go for the same thing on the other side. Again, lining your ankle, your hip, your shoulder, your elbow, all the way on your strap, making sure you're nice and straight. Bending your left leg this time, bringing your peace fingers in your left hand around your left toe. You can flex into your right foot and try to use that to help you balance. And all of the strength from your core. This is the form of this pose we'll practice first, but it also may be one of the more difficult ones to balance in. So don't get too discouraged if you're having a lot of trouble balancing. Once you are in the extended form of this pose, leg all the way extended, shine your hips forward, open up through your hips. And when you're ready, we're going to step it up. back to the original side. We'll alternate so you don't get too tired through your side body, your obliques, your shoulder muscles. So coming back to your first side you were on. Line back up again with your ankles, your left hip on your strap. And now this time, just like in our side plank, bring your forearm to the mat. You can bring your palm down. You can also make a fist and place the outer side of your fist on the mat, whichever feels more comfortable for you. But place your elbow on the strap as well. So keeping this centered, and just like our side plank from before, we're gonna rise up off of our hip, bringing your hip up towards the sky. So taking your side plank on your elbow. But of course, once you have your balance, taking the challenge of bending through your right leg, grabbing onto your toe, and reaching your leg up towards the sky. Do not be discouraged if this isn't a pose you get on the first or 10th or 100th try. It's a really fun one, but a really difficult one in balance and strength and all of the above. You may be balancing on the outside blade of your bottom foot. If you are able, you can spiral your foot down and reach with the sole of your foot down to the mat, but that is not accessible to everyone. If you don't hold this one for long, don't worry about it. Just give it a few goes on each side. If you are feeling any discomfort with your elbow on the strap, go ahead and fold the strap back just to right before where your elbow is, so you can still see where the line is of your strap, but you can have your elbow on the mat. Gazing forward, find somewhere unmoving to send your gaze. And again, go for a few tries. Take a breath in the pose if you can. If you're able to, hold it for a few breaths. That's great. And go for the other side. If you aren't able to straighten through your top leg as well, just reach your leg towards extension. It's okay if you don't get there. If you do have a spare strap or anything you can use like a strap, you can also loop that around your foot to get to full extension, if that works for you. Now, the final version of this pose, if you're up to give it a try, is the same thing, of course, stepped up one more time onto your hand, your palm. So, again, I like to place my hand under the strap for this one. It's just more comfortable. You can place your palm with your fingertips forward towards the head of your mat. And it's really the same process, just getting this feeling into your body. We felt the shape, we felt the strength required in our last variations, and now it's just the full expression of the pose. Give it a go if you haven't yet. If you're up on your hand, make sure you're pressing evenly through your palm and your fingertips. Squeeze the mat with your fingers. And again, if the strap that's helping you stay on a straight line is actually just hindering you, you can go ahead and fold it up any which way so you don't slip or anything. Just keep in mind where it was, do your best. You can stay on that straight line. This will help you engage through your glutes, send your hips forward, and try to stay in a full straight line. Go ahead and try this out on both sides if you haven't yet. Still using your strap to show you where straight is. Make sure you haven't been moving around. Readjust it if you need. It's not a pose. We practice often. Something I should spend more time on. Give it one more try wherever you're at. Of course, you can pause, as always, if you want to spend more time here. And when you're ready, kind of fold your strap up, set it to the side, and we'll take a little wind down from here. You can go ahead and take a few breaths in a child's pose, if you'd like, or else find your way into a tabletop, and we're going to set up for a pigeon pose. Now, if this ever feels painful on your knee, back off. You can sit yourself on a block to raise your hips off the ground and put less pressure on your knee. This can definitely be a pose that's easy to go a little too far on your knees, so just be aware. From here, from your tabletop, bring your right knee forward and pivot it out to the side. So you can bring the blade of your right foot to the mat. Now from here, sit your hips forward into your pigeon. Again, if this bothers your knee at all, come back up and sit your right hip on a block. Now from here, flex strongly into your right foot to protect all of the attachments in your knee. And from here, you can also play with how far forward and back your right foot is. It'll be much deeper of a stretch through the outside of your right leg, the farther away from your hips that you have your foot. So you can also tuck it back in a little bit. Just make sure you keep it flexed wherever it's at. Settle in. Now you can keep your arms straight, palms on the mat, rising up through your spine. If you'd like, you can also relax and fold forward, coming down to your forearms, maybe bringing your head, your forehead even, down towards the mat. Spend a few breaths relaxing in your pigeon pose. Again, if this is not a pose for you, that is totally fine. You can hang out for a little longer in your child's pose. I encourage you to stay here in your pigeon as long as you'd like. But if you're ready, come back up onto your palms, straight arms if you're not there. Step slowly, mindfully, your right foot back to a tabletop, and go for the same thing on the other side. Bringing your left leg forward, left foot out to the side, bringing your hips down onto the mat, flexing into your left foot. Pigeon on the other side now. If you haven't tried rising up or folding forward, go ahead and give both a try. They can feel very different. When you're ready, when you feel even on both sides, you can press back up to your palms if you're not there. Step back into your tabletop. Cross your feet at the ankles. Come over onto a seat. Take one of your blocks with you and come all the way down onto your back. take a bridge pose here, but not one from strength, but one on the more therapeutic side. So bending at your knees, bringing the soles of your feet to the mat so that you can just touch your ankles with your outstretched fingers. From here, you're going to press into your feet and your arms just enough to raise your hips off the floor to place your block right below your hips under your low back. You can experiment here with which side of the block you want facing up. You kind of have 3 choices of height. Experiment and find what works for you. Round your shoulders back. Wrap your shoulder blades underneath you. And relax here. Notice if your knees are falling out to the side and spiral them just a little bit in if they are. Not all the way to touching, but trying to keep them parallel. Wherever you're at, you can stay here, or you can also experiment with, once you have a stable balance on your block, hug your knees up to your chest. Take it nice and slow. You can stay here. You can also flex your feet, send them up towards the sky. Take a combination of therapeutic bridge and legs up the wall. Start to allow your breath to really deepen again. Winding down. Your legs are up. Go ahead and hug them back down. Turn the soles of your feet mindfully, slowly to the mat. Raise yourself up just enough to take the block out from under your back. Keeping your knees and feet where they are. Hug your knees up into your chest. And when you bring your feet back to the mat, keep your knees bent. Bring the soles of your feet to the mat, wide, just like in the very beginning of class, to the outside edges of your mat. Now allowing your legs both to fall to one side. Windshield wipe your legs back and forth up through center and over to the other side. Once you've done a few rounds back and forth, use this movement to slowly extend your feet. Take your toes and crawl your feet slowly towards straight out behind you. Keep rotating side to side until you make it all the way to extended legs. Back in our Shavasana. Again, you may bring your hands to any part of your body that you feel like needs some attention, needs some energy, needs some love, relaxation, whatever it may be. Or you may just bring your hands to your side, palms up. Allow your eyes to close if they haven't yet. And relax into your mat. Let everything we did today soak in. And take this time to show yourself some gratitude. Thank yourself for showing up on your mat today. Making some time for yourself. Now send a little wiggle into your fingers and toes. Send it up to your wrists and ankles with some circles there. Spread your feet and arms out in a nice big X. Reach long with each foot and hand, stretching away from you. And relax. Stepping up onto your elbows, tuck your chin. Come up slowly to a seat. Keeping your eyes closed. And take one more deep breath together. Inhale. And exhale. You may blink your eyes open. Thank you so much for joining me on your mat today. I hope you enjoyed this practice, this fun peak pose, challenging peak pose. I hope you had luck in whatever level you were trying, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Namaste.